I've been meaning to touch up all of the black plastic, all of the the matte stuff along the bottom and the trim on my 2016 Mustang GT for some time now. About a year ago, I had used back to black, and it did an all right job at first, but it just didn't last, and it ended up fading. Any little bit of wax that I had on there came back through, and all the black plastics are just looking pretty gray. So a couple weeks ago, I saw this system from Cerakote that I picked up on Amazon. It's a ceramic trim coating kit. It's supposed to last 200 washes. The small kit at least comes with 10 of these little wipes. You open up the wipe package after washing and really thoroughly drying the car. They specify that the system will not work if the trim or any part of the car is wet. So last night I washed the car, dried it, and it's been sitting overnight, so everything should be completely dry. I'm going to show you guys what the black plastic looks like, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. So here's a bit of an overview of what the plastic looks like. You can see that it's faded, and it's got some, just some, marks on it, and a little bit of old wax there. It's in good shape overall, but it's definitely not perfect. The cowl, especially right along here, is super faded, and the back to black just really didn't do what I had hoped it would do. The front splitter here, you can see wax and just gunk. So, gonna see how this works. Okay, so this is the first of the trim panels done. This is the cowl. And it did a pretty good job. I don't know if it's going to stay this glossy. I will say this. They tell you very clearly on the package this is a permanent product, which, I mean, permanent is a relative word, but I think they're implying that to remove this from your paint, you're going to need to use mechanical means like you would with any other ceramic coating. So I got a little bit of my paint. I'm just going to grab a microfiber towel and just touch it up and move on to the next one. Of note, this took one entire towel. If you're got a large area, the small package might not be enough, especially if your plastic's older like mine. I think probably I could get through my car and maybe, I don't know, maybe the plastic on my my 2022 Bronco Wildtrak, but I don't think I'd be able to do both these cars and whatever's on my wife's Mercedes. Back up a little bit here. My wife's Mercedes, and then my 86 Camaro that's sitting back there. But we'll see how many of these wipes I have at the end. So I just got done with the whole car. I used 4 of these wipes, and like I said, there were 10 in the package. And so that got me the cowl and the header panel and the plastic on my fuse box. I did the front grills, top and bottom, and the front splitter. And those grills are the stock Performance Pack GT grills, but I cut out all the honeycomb and installed mesh from customcargrills.com, I don't know, like 6 years ago. I also have a Velocitech Big Mouth on the passenger side. I'm sorry, on the driver's side, and that's feeding a 2018 airbox to 2018 elbow and then a 2018 intake manifold. And I think this stuff did a good job. Like I said, 4 of these wipes was enough to do all of the black plastic. I had a lot of lightening and kind of like wax color from previous waxings. This is the Roush rear valance on using the 2018 active exhaust mufflers, and I think this did a pretty good job. I went back over it in certain spots to make sure that I had even coverage. I was able to do the door mirror pieces and then the trim around the doors. I did, 2016 has these heat extractors with turn signals, and I was able to get them done as well. So, I mean, the big test is going to see how it holds up to South Carolina. South Carolina is not easy on cars, and she lives in the garage, but she's a driver. She's got almost 60,000 miles on it. And now that I have my Bronco, I don't really drive her as much, but she's still going to get use quite frequently. So maybe in a few months I'll come back and I'll post a follow-up on this and see how this stuff looks in a little bit. A couple of things that I forgot to mention about this Cerakote is that number one, they tell you that it really needs to be dry. Everything needs to be dry. So if you need to use compressed air to get water out from in the seams, use that. Use a blower like you would for a leaves. Get all the water out. Let the car sit overnight if you can. And then apply this stuff out of the sun. I have to assume that there's some sort of a chemical bonding issue, that if there's too much sun, it'll stop it from bonding properly. But then they tell you to keep the car from getting wet for an hour. I'm not planning on driving tonight, so she's going to stay in the garage. She's going to stay dry. It's going to rain here on Thursday, Friday. I'll probably not drive the car until the weekend when it's nice. So now I got my Bronco. But hopefully this stuff will hold up well, and when I post a follow-up in a few months, hopefully I'll be happy with it.